President Trump is sounding off on Twitter on the Orange County's opposition to California's sanctuary state policies. In a series of tweets today, the president applauded the Southern California county and said his administration stands in solidarity with the city or the county as it pushes to keep its citizens safe from criminal illegal aliens. Now, this comes after Orange County voted to join the Trump administration's lawsuit against California over its policies that shield illegals. And with more on that, Republican businessman and John Cox, who is running for governor and who just recently moved up to second in the polls, in a particular poll. So I want to thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Patrick. Thanks for having me.
Well, I want to get right back to this this big move today out of Orange County. But first, I want to talk about the media's reaction to your surge in the polls. The LA Times recently said that Democrat Lieutenant Governor Gavin Newsom might be happy that you've made this jump in the polls because it increases his odds of winning now taking on a Republican. Your reaction to that?
Oh, this sounds vaguely familiar, Patrick. If you remember, Hillary Clinton was overjoyed at having to face Donald Trump. And of course, we know how that turned out.
Right.
You know, I think the people of this state know what's been going on for the last number of years. I mean, California is now the laughingstock of the nation, 50 out of 50 in the quality of life. Our roads, our education systems are horrendous despite billions thrown at them. We've got a housing crisis that isn't solved and that the politicians just keep wanting to throw more money at it instead of changing regulations. Our tax burden is outrageous. I'm the chairman of the effort to repeal the gas tax, which is hitting working people in their pocketbooks and making it extremely hard to feed their families, let alone afford a house. So the Democrats have made hash out of this state, and I think what people are going to look at in 2018 is they're going to look at me as a businessman. I've solved problems. I've been in the business world for 42 years, Patrick, and of course, what I've done there is I've solved problems, and that's what any businessman does. The politicians, like Newsom and Brown here, create sanctuary state nonsense to distract us from all the problems. They get us angry and they get us scared instead of solving the problems, because I got to tell you, the problem with solving a lot of these problems is that there's constituencies, there's special interests who pay these guys to keep things the way they are because they make money from it. I'm going to blow up that whole system of pay-to-play and the influence peddling that goes on, and I think the people of this state are looking for some change. Well,
and your surge in the polls may prove that.
I think it does, yeah.
Now you mentioned the gas tax. I'm going to get back to that in just a moment. But again, back to Orange County here, as the government there is now joining in this backlash against sanctuary policies. Now, the president tweeted, as we saw, that he stands behind these brave citizens of Orange County. So this could be big. Are we watching a shift in ideals in the bluest of blue states when it comes to sanctuary policies?
I believe that's the case.
Is this the beginning of it?
I think this is the beginning of it. You saw it with Los Alamitos. The Orange County Board picked up on it from there. I'd like to call on the San Diego County Board to take a look at doing this as well. I could see Riverside and San Bernardino, which have some substantial issues themselves. You know, the first role of government, Patrick, is to protect the people. I mean, that's in the U.S. Constitution. It's in the California Constitution. We also, on a more personal level, we hire these public officials to work together. Now they're filing lawsuits against Washington every single day, preventing law enforcement from working together. That makes absolutely no sense. Most people in California just want to live their lives in peace. They want to have a nice community. They want to have a nice school for their kids. They want to be able to watch their kids grow up and maybe live near them when they get older. They don't want to participate in all this partisan bickering. They don't want to get involved in demonstrations. They don't want to see their public officials filing lawsuits at each other. They want to see real solutions. That, I think, is at the heart of this whole sanctuary state thing. I'm thinking this action by Orange County is going to start to build. I think
Right.
more counties in this state are going to do it, and I'm very happy about that.
Well, I want to say last week they saw a report where Los Alamitos, they said that they may be kicking the door in when it comes to people following suit, and we may be seeing that now.
We may be seeing that. I think it's a good thing for the people of California, and I think it's going to lead to a lot of other backlashes against this housing crisis, against the gas tax. We're going to see that going on here too, and I think it's going to result in my election as the governor in 2018 in November.
Well, let's talk about that gas tax. How do you balance the proposal to raise the gas tax with the notion that President Trump may need that to help fund that $1.5 trillion infrastructure plan?
Well, you know, I'm in the business world, Patrick. I don't waste money. Take a look at this statistic for a second. California spends $4.50 for every dollar Texas spends to build a mile of road. Now think about that. 4.5 times. Asphalt and concrete does not cost 4 times more in California. That's corruption. That's union feather bedding. That's waste. That's inefficiency. California's got 3,500 extra positions in design and engineering that could be farmed out, outsourced to the private sector in truly competitive bidding process.
Right.
I don't waste money in my business, and I'm horrified at how much is wasted in California, and I think the taxpayers are too. And of course, what's the reaction of the politicians? Raise the tax. Take more money out of the pockets of hard-working Californians who are barely able to afford their rent, let alone their gasoline. And I'm done with that. And I want to see infrastructure, but I want to see it done without waste.
And Governor Brown, in his State of the State, his last one, it seems he may be going down fighting this year on this proposal.
He called the taxpayers of this state freeloaders, thinking, you know, basically saying that they were trying to freeload and not pay for the roads. Yet he's continuing to put up with Caltrans, which is voted one of the most corrupt and bloated agencies in the entire country. That's an outrage as far as I'm concerned. I'm going to deal with it.
Well, I want to shift gears here to something that's that we all see. All you got to do is drive down the road with regards to the homeless rate in California. Of course, one of the highest poverty rates in the country is California. Of course, more than a quarter of the country's homeless population is right here in California. Right. So this week, Orange County pulled back. They retracted plans to put homeless camps in Irvine, Laguna Niguel, Huntington Beach. Was that the right move after another homeless camp already closed down? They say no more because they were going to be sued.
What do you say to the hardworking people who are working 2 jobs in many cases, or both husband and wife working to afford a house in Orange County, and then you hear about the Orange County, you know, basically paying for motels or paying for homeless encampments? I mean, nobody has a constitutional right to live in Orange County. I mean, I'd like to live in the palace in London, in Buckingham Palace, right? I'm not going to go pitch a tent on the corner of outside Buckingham Palace. You don't have a right to do that.
Right.
So what we need to do is we need to fix our housing crisis. I'm absolutely on board with making sure that we get more affordable housing, and that means we cut regulations, we streamline the California Environmental Quality Act, we get rid of some of the impact fees. We get developers. We got to build 3 million homes in the next 10 years. That's important. Right. We got to also deal with substance abuse. A lot of the homeless are abusing substances. Gavin Newsom's answer is to open up drug houses where the people can shoot up in houses owned by the city. That's ridiculous. Let's get people cured of these abuses. The third thing that creates the homelessness are the prisoners that we've let out of jail. Right. And you know why we've let them out of jail, Patrick? Because it costs $75,000 a year to house a prisoner here versus $16,000 a year in Alabama. Right. We've got to make sure that we don't waste money and we keep dangerous criminals in jail if that's where they should be. We don't let them out in the street to be on homeless. And of course, that's resulted in the crime rate going up. You can see that in San Francisco. Well,
I know you've surged in the polls. You're now in second place in some polls to the lieutenant governor. Couple more real quick ones. We don't have a lot of time, but have you reached out to President Trump? Do you expect and want that endorsement? I'm going to be meeting people at the White House. I certainly welcome the president.
I was concerned about the president. You know, I wasn't sure he was a conservative. I'm looking at what he's done in terms of regulations being cut, in taxes being cut, in moving the embassy to Jerusalem, in defeating ISIS and the judges he's appointed. I'm very happy as a conservative that he's done the things he's done. So I welcome a visit with the president. Newt Gingrich is a big supporter of the president. He's endorsed my campaign for governor.
That's brand new.
He's brand new story. He's also going to participate in the strategy. He believes that California can be won by a Republican, and it's a very important state. This governorship is the second most important position in the country behind the president, and I think Newt recognizes that.
All right, businessman and candidate for governor in California, Republican John Cox. We'd love to have you back.
Thank you. I'd love to be back.
We can use your help. Call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call today.